What's up? My name's Kamal, and today I'm going to be replacing the cabin air filters on my 2013 Mazdaspeed3. So it's the second gen, which is from 2010 to 2013. So this should also be the same process if you have a 2010 to 13 normal Mazda 3. I'm just using the OEM filters. There's the part number, if anyone's wondering. The nice thing about these OEM filters is they come with this diagram because there's actually two separate filters that you stack one on top of the other. So it explains pretty well how to do that. I've only ever used the Mazda OEM filters, so I'm sure you can get cheaper filters from a different brand. Just not sure if they'll include a diagram like this. I'm actually going to start with disconnecting the negative battery cable. When we do go to replace the filters, there's a connector we have to disconnect for the blower motor resistor. So it's not a bad idea just to have no current or electricity running through that so it doesn't throw any codes. I mean, it wouldn't throw a light in your dash, but it might store a code just from disconnecting the sensor. So it's just an easy step. So the filters themselves are located on the left side of the passenger footwell. So the first thing you want to do is just this plastic cover you want to pop off. There's, I think, some maybe one or two little plastic pieces that hold it in back here, and then an aligning part up here. So you want to pull from the rear, not from the front. It just pops out like that. And you have to pull it this way because that's the aligning piece that slides in right here. And you can see that's where the those two clips were in. And it's right back here, so to give us a little more room, you can remove this cover right here, which on either side, you just have these little tabs that you push forward to release them. So one on each side. This is the same thing on the front side of this. You just have this piece that it goes over this little stud right here to hold up the front part of it. And then now you can see the connector I was mentioning earlier, which just powers your blower motor resistor. To remove this, you're just gonna push in on the tab right here and pull it backwards. After removing the connector, you can see there's a Phillips head screw on the top and the bottom, and that's what's holding the blower motor resistor in place. The reason that the filters are down here is because the blower motor is actually located in the center of the dash. So it's located basically tucked away behind there. I know a lot of blower motors are up here, and the filters are sometimes even in the glove box. I've actually had to replace my blower motor and the blower motor resistor before because a little mouse got in there and made a little home. And so there was just a bunch of stuff in the blower motor that I could actually hear, and then a bunch of stuff around the resistor, which caused it to overheat and fail, I think is what happened. So just be kind of delicate when removing this. So before we can actually pull the filters out, there is one more larger cover that has to be removed. And you can see there's two more Phillips screws at the bottom left there. And then there's a tab up top that you're gonna move as well to get that off. So yeah, you just push this down to release the top part. As you can see, there's some leaves and stuff that get in here. But this is the filters themselves, and these are looking pretty dirty. So you pull the first one out, and the other one is actually above it. That's how we're gonna put the new ones in as well. So you kind of have to like pull this one down, and then you can pull this one out too. One thing I just wanted to mention quickly is that, as y'all saw, I removed the resistor first, which goes right here. But if you really want, you could just remove the bottom screws, and then you should be able to take this out as one piece. I just, to be extra careful with this, just took this out first, just two screws. So yeah, I mean, I guess there's a couple ways you could do this. You could even leave this connected take the 2 screws off and just let this hang out of the way. I guess there's a couple ways you can go about it, but I just figured for the video, I just take everything completely apart just to show you all the different ways that you can go about it. You can see there's also some dust and stuff on here. So while I have this out, I'm also gonna clean this, which leads me to our next step before putting the new filters in, which is something I recommend everybody do, is just vacuum out the inside of this hole. The main reason being, you know, like I said, I had one of these fail, and I think it's because stuff was built up around it, causing it to maybe overheat or something like that. The other reason to vacuum it out is if any of the leaves or anything get on the wrong side of the filters, that could get sucked up into your blower motor, and then you might hear like a ticking noise from just a leaf stuck in the fins of the blower motor. And since it's so hidden back there, it's not really easy to clean it out. So that can also be an annoyance. So just to avoid any of that, I'll just, if you can, vacuum out the inside of the air filter box, and also just clean any dust or anything off the resistor as well. Just finished using my shop vac to get the leaves and stuff out of the air box. And to be honest, it is tight down here, so it's kind of hard to get your head under here and look in there. So I actually had a mirror and just flashlight after vacuuming it out, just use the mirror to look in there, see if I missed anything. So the last thing for us to do is just put the new filters in. So the first one you're gonna go in, which will be the one that's up top, is this one. The bottoms of these are different. One has a straight edge, and this one has these curved bits. This curved bit one is the one up top. This one also has foam up top here. It's kind of hard to see on camera, but there's like a little arrow pointing this way, which lets you know that this is the direction you want to put it in and not this way. Essentially, when we put this one in, it's sliding in between those ribbed pieces, and that's how they kind of don't move apart from each other. Yeah, you can see the arrows now. These are the areas where those 2 Phillips screws were. So the best way to describe this is this slides in kind of in between where those 2 Phillips screws were in place. So once you put this first one in here, you're basically pushing it up, and it kind of holds in place on its own. Yeah, just make sure you got the arrow on this side. This smaller lip faces up, and this larger lip faces down for the second one you put in. So for getting that second one in there, it was a little awkward, as y'all saw. I actually had to just lift the edge up of the one up top just a little bit to get this one to slide into place. I just finished getting the filters in there. To be honest, it didn't go in the proper way that first time on camera. I had to fix it because this diagram is pretty helpful. You can see the opening, how the 2 arrows should look and how it should look lined up. And really, those all those little pieces all around the filter, there's like a track all around it that it all should line up in. So it might take you a couple tries to get it just right. It should look like that if it's in the proper location. Once you get those filters in there the proper way, you can just go in reverse order of how you took everything apart, and you should be good to go. I would just turn on the blower motor, make sure everything works, because if something's wrong with the resistor, then the blower fan won't actually turn on. But yeah, thanks for watching. If you could like the video and subscribe to my channel, helps us out and we appreciate it. And yeah, I'll see you guys in the next one.